Is this the best Niners team of the Kyle Shanahan era?
Man, it okay. So right now you can't say yes because they've had a team go to the Super Bowl and they've had a team go to the NFC Championship. But if I'm just going strictly on paper and talent for talent, piece for piece, I think it's the best, and I don't think it's close, Grant. This defense has been locked down, absolutely locked down, more so than they ever have been. The offense,
Eric Armstead's healthy, great. Not healthy, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you
yeah,
can take off multiple starters from this defense, and they're like, still dominant.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And when I look at that secondary in 2019, Richard Sherman was playing well, but he was always a liability, just waiting to get cooked. And unfortunately, it happened in the biggest game possible. But we all knew that that was going to be a thing or could be a thing. This team right now is so damn good. Adding Christian McCaffrey, I think Brock Purdy is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Like right now, he's shown that. So
Hot take.
if
Hot
that
take.
is the case, then they've upgraded at quarterback, the most important position. You've got guys like Fred Warner and Bosa who were much younger players then. They have come into their own. They are leaders. They are much better players than what they were back then. I don't know. I think this team right now is the best team in the Shanahan era, and I don't know that it's close.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. All I will say is the reason it's better than every other team is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy. The Niners are better at quarterback than they've ever been in the Shanahan era. And it's not that Brock Purdy is Joe Montana. It's just that he's better than Jimmy, and that's a big deal because the Niners have been struggling to find a quarterback that's better than Jimmy, and which is hard to fathom because Jimmy's not great. And now they got one, and all of a sudden they've scored 30-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. I mean, all of a sudden, all that talent not just on the field, but in the coaching booth is like, okay, boom, there's the offense you thought you were getting when you hired this guy. When the Niners hired Kyle Shanahan, they didn't think they were getting a defense team, which is what they've gotten the last 5 years because of Jimmy Garoppolo. But that's over with. And now you got a team that might be better on offense than defense. Our biggest concern is with their defense.
Right.
Dude, this is the Purdy effect. And, maybe he won't be the long-term guy. Maybe it'll be Trey Lance. But it kind of feels like the Eagles when Nick Foles took over that one year, and it just worked for a month or two. It could work for longer, but it's working right now, and there's no answer. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. If I had to give it an effect, I would say it's the CMC effect, and then Purdy is also taking it to a different level for sure. But they went from scoring 18 points a game
That's fair.
to 26 with Jimmy Garoppolo and Adam
I question
CMC.
that is because there was the one game against New Orleans where they scored 13. And to me, that's like, well, boom, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. And that's why you need a new quarterback. And that's why I didn't like the trade. When they traded for McCaffrey, I'm like, yeah, great player, whatever. It's still Jimmy. You could give Jimmy Garoppolo Jerry Rice, and he's still going to find a way to not win the Super Bowl. So once Jimmy was gone, and that was your point too, like, well, think about in the future with Trey Lance. And I was thinking, yeah, that's great too, but this is a win-now move. And now it's both. They just might win because of him and Brock Purdy, and there's a future with Trey Lance or Brock Purdy. I mean, yeah, it was a good move.
Yeah, and it's crazy because after the first game when they beat the Dolphins, we talked about this, and I said, no, I don't think this team can win a Super Bowl because I didn't think they could with Jimmy, and it would be completely unfair of me to say that Brock Purdy after one game is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Like that's just that's not right. Like you can not like somebody or think somebody's not the best, but to say that somebody after one game was better. So I said at that time, hey, I don't think that they can win the Super Bowl with Purdy because I don't think Purdy's better than Jimmy. It's way too early to say that. After 4 games played, I'm confident saying that Purdy's better than Jimmy. I mean, he just is.
I don't think the Niners would have won in Seattle with Jimmy. I don't think he would have hit those throws to Kittle. I don't think the Niners would have beaten Washington with Jimmy. Now, maybe they would have. And we'll never know. But what I feel is, even though it's early in Brock's career, and it's hard to say what he is, I think it's fair to say the Niners are winning games right now with Brock that they might not have won with Jimmy, and that's a big freaking deal. And that's, again, why I feel like this is the best team in the Shanahan era.
Yeah.
Now, they may not go to the Super Bowl. Maybe they won't make it happen, but I do think it's better than the 2019 team.